natural flavors is on absolutely everything we eat. Your morning yogurt, that sparkling water you bought, even those healthy granola bars. It's plastered across food labels everywhere, promising a delicious, pure taste. But when you see those two words, natural flavors, what does that actually tell you? Is it just the essence of the fruit they claim? Or is this a clever, highly processed trick that companies use to keep their ingredient lists short and their recipes secret? You know, I had to investigate. Let's dive deep into the truth about what natural flavors really means, because the answer is way more complicated. And frankly, a little more bizarre than you think. When we talk, we often assume natural means untouched, maybe squeezed from a fruit or rooted from the earth. But when it comes to the legal definition of natural flavors, you need to toss that assumption right out the window. According to the FDA, a natural flavor must originate from a plant or animal source. That sounds reassuring, right? We're talking fruits, vegetables, meat, dairy, eggs, spices, roots, even fermented products. That's the starting line. But here is the critical distinction. Just because the source is natural doesn't mean the final product is simple. In fact, natural flavors are created through intense processing in a lab. Think of it like this. The goal of a flavor scientist isn't to give you the whole orange. It's to isolate the single chemical compound in that orange that makes your brain say, "Ah, orange." They use high-tech methods like distillation, fermentation, heating, enzyme digestion, or solvent extraction. They are taking raw materials and subjecting them to extreme, scientific methods to pull out one specific aromatic compound. The final flavor chemical is highly concentrated, highly engineered, and ready to be mixed into your favorite snack. They do all this because these concentrated compounds are often cheaper, more consistent, and much easier to transport than whole ingredients. Now, let's get into the part that usually shocks people the most. The ingredients that qualify as natural can be genuinely surprising. Take, for example, natural vanilla flavor. That's usually derived from vanilla beans, or sometimes from lignin, a component found in wood pulp. That makes sense. But what about something like natural raspberry flavor? Sometimes it comes from actual raspberries, but historically, and sometimes still today, it could come from something much stranger, a beaver. I know, it sounds like a joke, but it's totally true. The compound is called castoreum. Castoreum is a secretion from the castor sacs, which are glands of beavers. Beavers use it to mark their territory. It has a complex, musky vanilla-like scent that was historically used in perfumes and, yes, as a food flavoring, especially to enhance vanilla, strawberry, and sometimes raspberry notes. Now, before you panic and throw out your pantry, the good news is that castoreum is incredibly expensive and difficult to source. So the vast majority of flavorings today are synthetic or derived from cheaper, more common plant sources. But the fact that castoreum qualifies as a natural flavor under FDA rules proves the point. Should be cosy natural than expected, or even remotely related to the food you think you're eating. So, is the existence of natural flavors a bad thing? Not inherently. These isolated flavor molecules are generally recognized as safe by the FDA. They aren't going to harm you in the small quantities used in processed foods. The real problem is not the safety of the ingredient. It's the lack of transparency for the consumer. The term natural flavors acts as a shield for companies. It allows them to protect their proprietary recipes without having to list the dozens of tiny chemical compounds they use to create that specific taste. Maybe that flavor formula contains a unique blend of compounds derived from 5 different plant sources, a little bit of enzyme-treated yeast, and some solvent. If they had to list all that out, the label would be massive, complicated, and let their competitors know exactly how they achieved that unique raspberry zing. By using the umbrella term natural flavors, they get to keep their trade secrets safe. But for us, the consumers, it means we simply don't know exactly what we're consuming. If you have specific dietary restrictions, allergies, or ethical concerns, especially around animal-derived ingredients, the term natural flavors leaves you completely in the dark. It's a loophole that benefits the manufacturer's bottom line and intellectual property, not your knowledge about your food. Here is the takeaway. Don't mistake natural flavors for whole foods or simple ingredients. They are highly processed, engineered compounds derived from natural sources, often completely unrelated to the food they flavor. The primary issue isn't safety. It's the total lack of transparency that prevents you from making truly informed choices. Want to know what's really in your food and how to decode those tricky labels? Hit subscribe to the channel for the next Bite Bureau investigation. And tell me in the comments below, what food label or mystery ingredient should we decode next? See you in the next video.